Good evening, my little creatures of the night. Mr. Wendigo back again. And boy, have I got a stone-cold tale for you tonight. Let's see what the geothermal vents have whispered to me this time. Ah yes, here we are. Yellowstone National Park. Where the Earth's heartbeat is magma and pressure. Where steam rises like the breath of something vast and patient. And where the missing become more than statistics. What happens when a ranger who watches everything he swore to guard slowly bleed out? What happens when every season brings more trampling boots, more careless fires, more tourists treating sacred ground like a backdrop for selfies? What happens when the oath you took to protect the public and the land finally breaks in half? Ash Valentine is about to find out. 28 years wearing the badge. 28 years filing incident reports that turn corpses into bear attacks and vanishings into exposure. 28 years listening to the mountains scream while his superiors demand he smile for the cameras. But something old lives in Yellowstone. Something that remembers when balance meant teeth, and it's been watching Ash Valentine for a very long time. This is your late night creature feature. When the ranger offers you a shortcut through the fog, don't take it. Before we begin, I'm curious. Where are you listening from tonight? Alone in your room? Driving through empty roads? Have you ever followed a trail marker that you could have sworn wasn't there a minute ago? Drop a comment and let me know. I like knowing who's out there in the dark with me. Now then, let's talk about what happens when guardians grow teeth. Valentine of the mountain. They say Yellowstone eats people. I've been a ranger here 28 years. I know it's true. Not the way the paperwork says, though. The official reports talk about falls, bear attacks, exposure. That's what we write down. That's what keeps the tourists coming back and the funding flowing and the senators happy and the whole machine running. The truth is different. Families vanish in the middle of a hike. Solo backpackers disappear between one step and the next. We find camps with the fire still going, coffee still warm in the pot, sleeping bags unzipped from the inside, like someone just stepped away for a minute and never came back. They didn't step away. My name's Ash Valentine, badge number 01762. I've been doing this long enough that I stopped counting the missing around year 15. Stopped trying to make sense of it around year 20. The park takes who it takes. I stayed because someone had to. My wife left after year 3 when she realized the job meant more to her than she did. My daughter stopped calling after I missed her college graduation for a search and rescue that turned up nothing but a shredded backpack. By year 10, I'd buried myself so deep in these woods that going back to normal life felt impossible. The park was all I had left. Rangers like me don't retire. We just fade into the trees eventually. Until recently, I didn't know why some of us fade and some of us don't. The call came in at 5:14 in the morning. I was drinking instant coffee that tasted like dirt when the radio crackled to life. Solo male hiker, 23 years old. His last GPS ping came through 4 days back. Parents were at the lodge. Probably crying, definitely demanding answers we didn't have. The trailhead was up at Eagle's boundary. Anders got on the radio before I could respond. He's my supervisor, 10 years younger than me, but acts like he knows everything. Always worried about budgets and politics and optics. 1 mile sweep, Val. Document what you find and file the report by noon. No ghost hunts this time. Ghost hunts. That's what he calls it when I actually try to find someone. Copy. I turned the radio off and poured the rest of my coffee down the sink. Fuck his 1 mile limit. The kid had been gone 4 days. His parents deserved more than me walking a circle and shrugging. I've done 73 searches in 28 years. Found bodies in 21 of them. The other 52 just vanished without a trace. Those are the ones that stick in your head. The ones where you have to look parents in the eye and tell them you did everything you could when you know damn well you didn't. You know there's something out there past the boundary that took their kid, but you can't say it because it sounds insane. Eagle's Boundary is what we call the problem area. The maps say hazardous terrain, geothermal activity. The truth is weirder. Compasses spin for no reason. Fog rolls in from nowhere. Radios die. People walk in and don't walk out. I've been up there maybe 50 times over the years. Every single time it feels wrong. The air tastes different. Sounds get muffled, like the forest is holding its breath. The service road was rough as hell. Potholes deep enough to snap an axle if you weren't careful, and my truck knew every single one of them. Steam vents cracked at the asphalt every few hundred yards, sulfur smell hanging thick in the air. I killed the engine at the turnout and sat for a minute, just listened. The forest was too quiet. No birds, no squirrels, just wind moving through the trees and nothing else. That's never good. I grabbed my pack and checked my gear. Flashlight, knife, first aid kit, radio that probably wouldn't work, sidearm, .40 caliber, 15 rounds. It wouldn't help against what was out here, but it made me feel better anyway. The kids' camp was about 200 yards down the trail. It was neat, too neat for someone who'd been out here 4 days. The tent was staked perfectly, rainfly pulled tight with no sag. His pack was leaning against a lodgepole pine, bear canister properly secured. The food bag was torn, though, hanging from a branch but completely shredded, granola bars scattered on the ground, a jerky wrapper, an apple with one bite missing. You could still see the tooth marks in it. Looked like raccoons or squirrels got into it. Except there were no prints, no scat, no other signs that animals had been anywhere near the camp. And there were no prints leaving the camp either, just boot marks by the tent, size 11, good tread, some tracks by the fire ring where the ashes had gone cold, maybe 3 days old. Then down by the creek I saw something else in the mud, drag marks, long ones, deep gouges in the soft earth like someone's feet got pulled out from under them. The heel scraped a trench maybe 4 feet long before the toes dug in at the end, like someone had tried desperately to stop. I've seen this before, twice, 7 years apart. Both times the official report said bear attack, drag patterns consistent with predation, body never recovered, case closed. Both times I knew it wasn't a bear. Bears don't drag like that. They leave claw marks, blood, hair, something. This left nothing but the drag marks, and then just stopped. I crouched down and studied the marks without touching them. The mud was cold, 4-day-old cold. Rain had come through 2 days ago, so these marks were from before that, fresh when it happened. Now just hard evidence that something had pulled this kid toward the tree line and he never came back. Valentine checking in, I said to the dead radio. It was an old habit from before I stopped trusting them. Expanding search perimeter. I followed the drag marks to where they stopped at the tree line. They just stopped, like whatever was pulling him had picked him up, or he got up on his own, or something else I didn't want to think about. Maybe 200 yards into the trees I found fabric, blue cotton, part of a sleeve, caught on a branch at chest height, fresh tear with thread still hanging. Beneath it, something was jammed deep into the bark, something that caught the light. Bone, carved bone with spirals cut into it that made my eyes swim if I looked too long. The pattern pulled at my vision, made me dizzy. I reached for it. It was warm. It shouldn't have been warm. It should have been ice cold after sitting out here for God knows how long. But it was warm, like it had just come off a living thing. I dropped it, pulled my hand back like I'd touched fire. I stared at it for a minute. Then I picked it back up. I don't know why. Something about it felt important, felt like evidence, even though I didn't know what it was evidence of. I slid it into my pocket. Some things you carry, some things carry you. You don't always know which is which until later. The sun was dropping by the time I got to the ridge cabin. It was old, built back in the 30s. Timber and stone construction. Mice nesting in the walls. Roof leaking in 3 places. There was a kerosene lantern on the table that I didn't trust, but I lit it anyway because the alternative was sitting in the dark and I wasn't ready for that. I set the bone token on the table and stared at it in the lamplight. The walls were breathing. Not like wood expanding in heat and contracting in cold. That's normal. This was rhythmic. In and out, like lungs. Like the cabin itself was alive. I checked the windows. Locked. Checked the door. Bolted. Nothing was getting in unless I let it. The breathing continued. I ate a protein bar that tasted like cardboard and drank some water. Sat in the chair by the lantern with my revolver on my lap. Waited. The first whisper came around midnight. It started under the door, this hissing sound. Then it came through the wall slats, soft at first. My name. Valentine. But said wrong, like whoever was saying it didn't have a human mouth, like they were remembering how the word should sound but couldn't quite get it right. The radio was off. Dead battery. This wasn't coming from the radio. I stood up and walked to the door, put my hand on the knob, didn't open it yet. Who's there? The whisper came again, louder this time. Valentine. I opened the door. Fog was everywhere, thick as hell. I couldn't see 10 feet in front of me, could barely see the porch railing. They were standing in the trees. I couldn't see them exactly. It was more like I could see the spaces where they should be and weren't. Shapes that didn't quite form. Tall, thin, moving in ways that made my joints ache just watching them, like seeing someone dislocate their shoulder on purpose. Wrong angles, wrong movements. Eyes looked up at me, green, glowing, dozens of them, all fixed on me. I lifted the lantern. The light cut through the fog and hit bark, hit bone, hit something that might have been skin but wasn't quite right, stretched over frames that weren't human. They didn't leave, didn't retreat, just became less solid, thinner, but they didn't go away. They were still there, still watching. I stepped back inside and closed the door, threw the bolt, sat back down in the chair, kept my boots on, gun in my hand, lantern stayed lit. I watched the shadows on the walls move, even though nothing was moving. Didn't sleep, couldn't sleep, just waited for dawn. Morning came slow. The fog was still there, but lighter now, gray instead of white. I could see shapes through the window, trees, rocks, the path. Ravens were circling something about half a mile out. I saw them through the window, black shapes against gray sky, wheeling, calling out with that rough croak they make. I know this ridge, every inch of it. I've spent 15 years patrolling it. I know every trail, every landmark, every overlook. But there was an opening in the rock face I'd never seen before. It couldn't be new. Rock doesn't work like that. Takes thousands of years to change. But I'd never seen this opening, never walked past it. It wasn't there before. Now it was. There was blood at the entrance, fresh enough to still be red, not brown yet. Smelled like iron, sharp and metallic, and pine sap, sweet, hot, like the tree had just been cut. "Ranger service," I yelled into the opening. My voice went in but didn't echo right. It got swallowed. "Anyone in there? Call out." Nothing. I waited, counted to 10. Then something knocked, deep inside the cave. Rhythmic, 3 knocks, deliberate, measured. Not an echo, a response. Someone was in there, or something. I checked my gear, flashlight with a full battery, knife on my belt, gun loaded, radio even though it wouldn't work. I stepped inside. The cave was warmer than it should have been. Stone holds cold, but the air in here was warm, almost hot, humid, like breathing inside something alive. My flashlight beam cut through mist but didn't go far, maybe 10 feet before the mist ate the light. The floor tilted down, straightened out, then tilted again, uneven. I had to watch my footing. The stones were slick with moisture. I heard whispering, faint at first, but it got louder as I went deeper. The sounds pulled together into words. Valentine. A dozen voices, maybe more, all saying my name. Then my radio hissed with static. Then my name came through, clear as day. Valentine. The radio had been off for hours. I turned it over and checked it. The battery was dead. It hadn't had power since yesterday. But it just said my name. There was movement ahead. I swung the flashlight around and caught a figure coming around a corner. A guy. Human. I relaxed for half a second. Then I saw him properly. He had the shape of a man. Arms, legs, torso, head. But bark was growing through his skin, coming out of his forearms like plates. Rough and dark. Living wood fused with flesh. Antlers curved over his shoulders. Small ones. Maybe 6 inches, velvet still on them. His eyes glowed, green, bioluminescent, like foxfire and rotten wood. "Come," he said. His voice sounded wet, thick, like speaking through water. Hands grabbed me from behind. I tried to turn but couldn't. The grip was too strong, thin fingers but hard, like wood, too many joints. They pulled me forward. I didn't fight. Fighting wouldn't help. Sometimes you let things happen so you can see what they want, see the whole picture before you make your move. The flashlight swung wild, catching glimpses, moisture running down the walls, bones stuck in the rock, human bones, ribs, femurs, skulls, held in place by stone brackets. Old blood on the walls, brown and rust-colored. Years old, maybe. The tunnel opened up into a space. Big, cathedral, big. I couldn't see the ceiling, just darkness up there. Sap ran down the walls in thick lines, glowing, blue and green. Veins of light in the stone. Torches burned in sockets carved into the walls. Bone sockets, antler, femur. The flames were wrong colors. Purple, white, violet. They didn't flicker like normal fire. Just burned steady. People were standing in a half circle, waiting. Their shadows climbed the walls behind them and stretched up into the dark. I recognized faces. Kowalski. He disappeared 7 years ago on a winter patrol near Lamar Valley. Went out to check on a stranded hiker and never came back. We found his truck at the trailhead, keys still in it. Coat still in the cab, like he'd just stepped out for a minute. His face was longer now, jaw extended, teeth visible even with his mouth closed. Too many teeth, antlers growing from his temples, small but there. Ruthie Parrish. 5 years ago, I'd pulled her out of a snowdrift myself. Hypothermia, no pulse. I did CPR till the paramedics came. She died at the hospital an hour later. I signed off on the report, attended her memorial service. But she was here, eyes glowing orange, fingers too long with extra joints, bark growing up her neck in elegant spirals. Beautiful, almost, if it wasn't so wrong. There were 7 others. Some I recognized, some I didn't. All changed, all wrong, all watching me. An old woman stepped forward, older than anyone I'd ever seen. Her skin had cracks in it, deep fissures that glowed from inside, pale light seeping through. Her hair was white, colorless, and it moved on its own, drifted, no wind to explain it. When she spoke, everyone spoke, voices layered over each other, harmony, different pitches but the same words. Ash Valentine, my name in a dozen mouths. Time to stop carrying the land's name and start carrying it back. My throat was dry. What are you? Stewards, guardians, chorus, what the land needs when it can't protect itself anymore. I protect people. That's my job, my oath. The people are killing what you protect. She said it gentle, not accusing, just stating a fact. The land is dying. You've seen it. Every year it gets worse. More people. More damage. More trash. More fires. More scars. The land needs teeth now. Needs to defend itself. Wendigo, I said. I needed a word for it. Needed something to call it. You're talking about Wendigo. Monsters. Guardians, she corrected. Firm but not unkind. Changed to do what needs doing. Reshaped by necessity. Some chose it, walked in here and drank willingly. Some we asked. Some we took. Either way, the land can defend itself now. It has teeth, has claws, has us. She gestured to the others, the half-circle of changed people watching me with glowing eyes. We see together, all of us, share sight, share scent, share memory. We're connected, one organism with many bodies. We remove what the land can't sustain anymore. We warn what will listen. We take what won't. The missing, I said. My voice sounded far away. All the missing people, they joined you. Some of them, some fed us in other ways, gave themselves to the roots, the soil, became part of the ecosystem again instead of cancer cells eating it alive. She tilted her head and studied me. You know what's killing this place, Ranger Valentine. You've known for years. You file the reports. You see the numbers. It's not bears. Anders and his bear reports. Decades of them. Files stacked in cabinets. All lies. Tidy lies that let us sleep at night. That let tourists keep coming. That let politicians keep cutting funding and nobody asks hard questions. Why me? I asked, though part of me already knew. You've listened longer than most, carried more names, more ghosts. Every missing person is a weight you carry. We feel it. The land feels it. You walk the boundary and you feel the pain. Don't you? You feel the land hurting. I do. God help me, I do. The streams are thinner every year. They used to run full even in summer. Now they're dry by July. Fires burn hotter and last longer. They started in May this year. May. They used to start in August. The elk herds are smaller. The wolves are thinner. Trees are dying from bark beetles, drought, stress. And the tourists. Jesus, the tourists are everywhere, trampling cryptobiotic soil that took decades to form, carving their names in trees, leaving trash, feeding animals, getting too close, taking selfies with bison, with bears, getting gored, getting mauled, then suing the park, demanding we kill the animals, like it's the animals' fault they were stupid. Every season I watch it get worse. Every season I file more reports, more violations, more damage, more death. And nothing changes, nothing gets better, just worse, slowly, steadily, worse. You're tired, the elder said, soft now, almost kind, tired of watching it die, tired of filing paperwork while the world burns, tired of lying to parents, to yourself. She was right. I was so fucking tired. Something moved behind her, taller than the others, way taller. It had to duck to fit under the ceiling of the chamber. Bones made a cage of its chest, ribs visible through skin stretched tight, translucent almost. I could see organs moving inside, dark shapes, wrong shapes. Smoke came from where eyes should be. Thick, black, constant. Antlers rose from its skull, not like deer antlers. These branched and rebranched, sharp, dozens of points, each one sharp as a blade. Claws as long as my forearm curved at its sides, each finger ending in a curved talon, bone or ivory, hard to tell. The Wendigo. Not the camp story version, not the gibbering cannibal monster. This was a guardian, scarred, changed, hunger with purpose, hunger aimed and controlled. It bowed its head toward me, slow, deliberate, its neck bending in too many places. It wasn't threatening me, it was greeting me, welcoming me. Drink, the elder said. She held out a bowl, stone, worn smooth by centuries of hands. The liquid inside was black, thicker than water, thicker than blood, resin. Spirals on the surface caught the torchlight and made patterns, galaxies, fractals. If you want to understand what you've been protecting all this time, if you want truth instead of lies, drink. I thought about the parents at the lodge, waiting, hoping. I thought about the missing who stopped being names and files and became this this chorus, this defense. I thought about the park dying a little more every season, the rangers who quit because they can't watch it anymore, the ones who stay and drink themselves numb. I thought about my ex-wife who left because I chose this over her, my daughter who stopped calling, the life I gave up to protect something that's dying anyway, 28 years of watching, filing reports, changing nothing. I took the bowl. The liquid was heavy in my hands, thick. It smelled like iron, like smoke, like earth after rain. I drank. It tasted like metal, like blood, like ash. It went down cold, then hot, burned, spread through me. The room broke apart, shattered. I saw myself from every angle at once, kneeling, them watching, the Wendigo reaching out with one claw, touching my chest, light, so light, right over my heart. I saw through Kowalski's eyes, through Ruthie's eyes, through all of them. I saw myself from outside, saw the cave, saw the mountain, saw the whole park spread out, every trail, every tree, every stone. I felt it, all of it, connected. I felt the pain, trampled soil, carved bark, trash buried, animals starving, water drying, fire spreading. I felt it all. Everything came back together. The room was solid again. I was kneeling. The bowl was in my hands, empty. I wasn't alone in my head anymore. Voices, whispers, names, faces, memories that weren't mine, spreading out, connecting, like roots, like rivers, branching, joining. The chorus. I understood now. I got it, all of it. The land needed guardians, needed teeth, needed us. And I just became one of them. The first day back, I tried to pretend nothing had changed. I woke up in the cabin. The sun was up. The fog was gone. Normal morning. I almost convinced myself I dreamed it. Then I looked at my hands. My palms were harder, rougher, little patches of bark-like skin, just small ones, easy to miss if you weren't looking. I touched my temples, felt 2 small bumps under the skin, hard, bone, growing. I checked the mirror. My pupils were wrong. They glowed faint red in low light, like embers. Fuck. I did my patrol anyway. What else was I going to do? Call in sick? Tell Anders I was turning into a forest guardian? He'd have me committed. I checked the boardwalks around the geysers. The old faithful crowd was huge. Tourists everywhere with their phones out, taking pictures, selfie sticks, ignoring the signs that said stay on path. Stepping over barriers to get better angles. One family set their toddler on the ground right next to a thermal pool, boiling water, steam rising. The kid could fall in and die in seconds. Skin would melt off. "Back behind the rail," I shouted, ranger voice, authoritative. They looked at me like I was the asshole, like I was ruining their vacation, but they moved, picked up the kid. They kept muttering though. I heard them. So rude, just trying to get a picture. The voices in my head stirred, angry. They wanted me to do something, wanted me to push them in, show them why the barriers exist. I didn't, not yet, but I wanted to. I patrolled the rest of the day, handed out maps, answered questions, told people to stay on trails, watched them nod and agree and then wander off trail 5 minutes later. Every boot print in the mud hurt. I could feel it, like stepping on my own skin. Night came. I went back to my quarters, studio apartment, government housing. I looked at myself in the mirror again. The bumps were bigger, pressing up, antler nubs, maybe half an inch now. I could see them if I pushed my hair back. My eyes glowed brighter, red, orange, like coals. I touched trees without thinking. My fingers found the cambium layer, the living part under the bark. I could feel the tree, its health, its age, its pain where someone carved initials 10 years ago. The chorus was constant now, low voices in the background, names, memories, Kowalski talking about his patrol routes, Ruthie remembering winter, others I didn't know yet, all there, all connected. I could feel hikers on the trails even from here, their footsteps, the weight on the ground traveled up through the soil, through roots, into me. I closed my eyes and I knew where they were, which trails, how many, how heavy their packs, how careless their steps. I kept thinking about my oath, protect and serve, protect the public and the land. But which one mattered more? What was the public worth if the land died? What was protection if the thing you were protecting was a cancer? Second day, third day, fourth day, the changes kept coming. The antlers grew, an inch a day maybe. I couldn't hide them anymore. I started wearing a hat pulled low. My hands hardened. The bark patches spread up my wrists, up my forearms. They didn't hurt, just felt different, numb, strong. The voices got louder, not overwhelming, just there, present. I could tune them out if I focused, could listen if I wanted. They showed me things, memories, how to move in the forest without sound, how to read tracks, how to feel vibrations in the earth, how to call fog, how to make trails loop. Anders noticed something was off. He called me into his office. "You feeling okay, Val?" "Fine." "You look tired. Maybe take some time. I can cover your sectors." "I'm fine." He studied me. "You've been out past the boundary a lot lately. Finding anything?" "Just doing my job." "Your job is to file reports, not to go ghost hunting." "Copy that." He let me go, but he was watching now, I could tell. I didn't care, let him watch. 5th day, 6th day, 7th day. The antlers were 4 inches now, curved, sharp tips. I couldn't wear a hat anymore. They pushed through it. I called in sick, said I had the flu. Anders didn't buy it, but didn't push. I stayed in the woods, slept in the cabin, visited the cave. The chorus welcomed me, taught me. I learned how to hunt, how to move, how to be what they were. The elder explained it. Patient, kind. You're not losing yourself. You're becoming more. The land is part of you now. You're part of it. You'll still be Ash, but you'll also be us. The chorus. The guardian. What about my humanity? What about it? Humanity gave you lies, paperwork, watching everything die while you filed reports. This gives you purpose, power, the ability to actually protect instead of just watching. She was right. I knew she was right. The first time I led someone wrong, I told myself it was practice, just seeing if I could. Young couple, mid-20s, just married, happy, laughing. They were wandering toward the boundary at sunset, not paying attention, not reading signs. I warned them, once, pointed them back toward the main trail. They thanked me, smiled, kept walking. Wrong direction, toward the boundary. I warned them again, trails that way. You don't want to go this direction, gets dangerous. We're experienced hikers, the guy said, confident, cocky, we'll be fine. They kept going. An hour later, I saw their headlamps bobbing in the fog, past the markers, past the signs, where trails stopped making sense. I could have called it in, sent a search team, brought them back. I didn't. Instead, I walked ahead of them, stepped into their path. "Ranger?" the guy called when he saw me. Relief washed over his face. "Saved." "Hey man, I think we're lost. Can you point us back to the lot?" He took my hand when I offered it, didn't see the sap on my fingers, didn't notice my hands were wrong. "This way. I know a shortcut." They followed, trusted the uniform, trusted the badge, trusted the ranger. The fog got thicker. I led them in circles, gentle ones. They didn't notice at first, then they did. "Hey, didn't we pass this tree already?" "All looks the same out here," I said. I kept walking. I led them deeper, further, where the fog was thick enough you couldn't see your own feet. When they finally panicked, when they started arguing, when their voices got scared, I stepped back. I let the dark have them, let the trees explain, let the land take what it was owed. I listened till it was quiet. I felt the land ease. The pressure behind my eyes dropped. The pain in my chest faded, like a weight had been lifted. They weren't evil, weren't bad people, just careless, thoughtless, like everyone else. But carelessness kills, and the land couldn't afford it anymore. I didn't file a report, didn't tell Anders. Let them be missing. Let them be mystery. 2 days later, Anders wrote up a bear encounter, likely fatal, bodies not recovered, case closed. Everyone slept fine, except me. But I wasn't sleeping much anymore anyway. A week later, I heard them before I saw them. Music blasting, laughter, shouting. 8 guys, 4 tents. They'd set up camp in a clearing that was marked no camping. Signs were everywhere. They'd ignored all of them. The fire was way too big. Flames reaching the branches, sparks flying. Dry season. One spark could start a forest fire. Beer cans everywhere, trash, food wrappers. They were drunk, loud, trampling everything. I watched from the trees for hours, just watching, learning them. Who was the leader? Who was the follower? Who was brave? Who wasn't? I snapped branches near their tents. Quiet, just enough. I watched them react, nervous laughter, looking around. I moved their stuff. Beer cooler 3 feet to the left. Nobody had touched it. It just moved. One of them noticed. "Dude, did you move the cooler?" "No. It was over there." "You're drunk, man." I left the bone token on top of the cooler. Carved spirals. They'd see it. Wonder about it. They did. One picked it up. "What the fuck is this?" "Probably just trash." "It's carved. Look at it." "Put it down, man. Don't touch weird shit in the woods." He put it down, but he kept looking at it. I let them stew, let the fear build, slow, patient. The music got quieter, the laughter got nervous. They kept looking into the trees. One finally saw me. I let him. I stepped where the firelight caught me just right. Antlers curved over my head, maybe 8 inches now, sharp, eyes glowing, reflecting the fire like an animal. "Hey," he shouted, then quieter, uncertain. "Hey." He wanted his friends to see it too, wanted confirmation, wanted to know he wasn't crazy. They looked. Some saw me, some didn't. I was moving, shifting, not staying still. "Is that a fucking deer?" "That's not a deer." "What is it?" "Put that fire out," I said from the darkness, ranger voice, calm, official. My badge caught the firelight, glinted. They scrambled, poured water on it. Steam, hiss, darkness dropped. I left, let the night do the work, let their imaginations fill in the blanks. Fear grows better in the dark. 2 of them went into the woods to piss, proving they weren't scared, proving they were men. I followed, quiet. They didn't hear me. I waited till they split up. One went left, one went right. I moved logs across the trail behind them. Subtle, just enough, made the path different, made it loop back on itself. I waited. I heard them calling for each other, voices getting scared, getting small. The first one was Marcus, 31, finance guy, lived in Denver, had a kid, 4 years old. He'd mentioned her twice already to sound like a good dad. He got separated from his friend. His phone flashlight made him easy to track, little moon bobbing through the trees. "Josh, man, this isn't funny. Josh?" No answer. Josh was half a mile away, different loop. I stepped where his light would catch me wrong. Silhouette, too many angles, antlers making my shadow huge. He saw me, froze. What the fuck? He ran. They always run, The body decides before the brain catches up. He crashed through brush. Branches whipped his face, blood on his cheek. He was panicking, breathing hard, phone clutched in his hand. I kept pace, easy. The ground helped me here, made him slow, made me fast. He tripped. A root rose up, or maybe I asked it to. I don't know anymore, don't care. He went down hard. His phone skittered away, light spinning. It found his face, white, terrified. I was on him before he could scream. I grabbed his throat, not squeezing yet, just holding, feeling. His pulse was hammering against my palm like a drum, fast, panicked. His eyes were huge, white all around. He saw my face, the antlers, eyes glowing red, mouth wrong, teeth wrong. "Please," he whispered, barely a sound. "Please, I have a kid, please." "I know," I said. My voice didn't sound like mine anymore. It sounded like wind, like stone. The land knows too. I pressed my thumbs into the soft hollow above his collarbone. I could feel the bone underneath, fragile, so fragile. He clawed at my wrists, nails scratching. It didn't matter. My skin was bark now, hard, didn't feel much anymore. I pressed harder. His pulse sped up, then stuttered, irregular, arrhythmia. His heart was losing rhythm. His chest cracked, ribs folded inward, sternum compressing, bones breaking like twigs. Wet sound, pop, crunch. Steam rose from his mouth, from the split in his chest where ribs used to protect. His heart did its last few kicks, spasming. His eyes went cloudy, pupils blew wide, then dark, all dark. The smell was copper, blood, and shit, bowels releasing, and something sweet, sap, resin, life feeding back into the earth. The body didn't disappear, didn't vanish. Roots came, they always do. They curled up from soil that shouldn't be soft but was, wrapped around his ankles, his wrists, his neck, pulled, gentle at first, then harder. The earth opened, a small mouth in the ground. It accepted him, swallowed, closed. Like he was never there, just disturbed earth, a small patch, already growing over. The land takes, the land grows stronger. I stood up, wiped my hands on my pants, sap, blood, earth, all mixed. The voices in my head hummed. Approval, harmony, one small balance restored. I walked back toward camp, quiet. They were still there, 6 of them now, panicking, shouting for Marcus and Josh. Josh I left alone. He'd find his way out, traumatized, changed, but alive. Marcus fed the land. One was enough, for now. Morning came, 6 tents. Rangers showed up for a search party. I was part of it. I led them in circles. We found nothing. The story spread. The ranger had warned them about a bear. They didn't listen. Marcus wandered off drunk. Josh was found by the road the next day, babbling about shapes in the dark, hospitalized. Psychiatric hold. Case closed. Bear encounter. Body not recovered. Everyone slept fine. She was fast, I'll give her that. Mid-30s, fit, calves like carved wood, hamstrings defined. She knew what she was doing. Good gear, hydration vest, trail shoes, GPS watch. Headphones in, music loud, shutting out the world. Mistake. I was watching from the trees when she passed, moving at pace, 7-minute miles on rough terrain, impressive. I followed, easy. The ground tilted different here for me, helped, made me faster, made her slower. She stopped at a viewpoint, hands on her knees, breathing hard but controlled. She looked out at the valley, steam rising from thermal features. Beautiful, morning light. I stepped where she'd catch me in her peripheral vision, just at the edge. Wrong shape, wrong silhouette. She yanked out an earbud, turned, looked. She saw me. half man, half something else, antlers, eyes glowing in shadow. She laughed, nervous, trying to convince herself, okay, that's enough trail running for today. Brave voice, steady, but her heart rate spiked. I could hear it. I let her pass, stepped back into the trees, gone. She ran faster now, wanted distance, wanted away. I was ahead on the trail. She came around a switchback and I was there, standing, watching. She saw me from below. The angle made me bigger, antlers longer, shadow stretching. Her brave voice cracked. Ranger? ? Please be human. Trail's closed ahead. Rock slide. You'll want the detour. I pointed at a path. I'd made it this morning. Fallen branches placed carefully. Stones arranged. It looked natural. Looked real. It looped, circled, fed back on itself. She took it. Didn't question. Why would she? I was a ranger. I was help. I followed her. Quiet. She was fast, but the path made her slow, made her work, uphill where it shouldn't be, roots across the path, rocks loose underfoot. She hit a tree I'd carved, spirals, deep, fresh. She stopped, looked at it, looked around. I could hear her heart, making decisions, wrong ones, then the smart one too late. She ran, full sprint, thought speed would save her, thought she could outrun geography. She couldn't. The land writes the rules here. The land makes the shape. She ran till her legs turned to numbers, till breathing was metal, till everything hurt. She stopped, had to, bent over, hands on knees, gasping. I came out with the fog, slow, easy, like a curtain opening. She saw me, backed against a tree, hands up, defensive, breathing ragged. What are you? Guardian. I didn't give her time to think. I moved fast, faster than human, faster than she'd trained for. I grabbed her wrist, twisted, bone popped, clean break, radius. She screamed. Good. Meant her lungs worked, meant the land could hear. I slammed her against the trunk. Once, her shoulders hit hard. Twice, her head snapped back, cracked, not dead, just slow, dazed. Blood in her hair, running down her neck, dark, wet. She was trying to say something, mouth moving. Please. Why? It didn't matter. My fingers found her throat. She fought, hard. She'd trained hard, strong. Nails raked my face, 4 lines. Deep. I didn't feel it. Bark doesn't feel much. I squeezed. I felt her pulse against my palm. Fast. Panicked. Like a bird trapped. Frantic. Her face went red, purple. Eyes bulged. Vessels burst. Little red flowers blooming in the whites. Capillaries popping. Her mouth opened, closed, opened. Tongue thick, swelling. Dark. It takes longer than you think. The body fights. Survival instinct is strong. The strongest thing we have. Her legs kicked, heels drumming the tree, hands clawing. Weaker, weaker now. Finally she went still. Pulse stopped. One last shudder. Whole body. Then nothing. I let her drop. Her body crumpled, hit the ground soft. Roots came. Always do. Always waiting. They wrapped around her ankles first, then wrists, then waist. Pulled. The earth opened. Mouth in the ground. Accepted her. Swallowed. Closed. Gone. Like she never existed. Her GPS watch was still on her wrist when it went down. Last ping showed the viewpoint. The search party would find nothing. Another runner who pushed too hard. Got lost. Nature claimed her. The voices in my head sang. Different harmony this time. Higher. Celebration. Balance. He was holding her hand. She was young. Maybe 7. Red jacket. Bright. Made her stand out like a target. He meant well. They all do. Good dad. Trying to show his daughter nature. Teach her. Bond. She was tired. He was pushing. Just a little further, sweetie. The waterfall is so pretty. I'm tired, Daddy. I know, almost there. But they were lost. Turned wrong somewhere. Past the boundary now. They didn't know it yet. I stepped out of the trees. He saw me. Relief washed over his face. Saved. Oh, thank God, Ranger. We're trying to find Paradise Falls. I think we missed the turn. You did. Trail's back that way for the parking lot. But the waterfall's down this spur if you want to see it first. Just a quarter mile. I pointed at Shadow. A path that didn't exist. That I'd made. That led nowhere. The girl looked at me. Long look. Kids see things adults don't. Instincts not buried yet. You're bleeding, she said. She pointed at my temple. Resin dried there. Looked like blood. Tree branch. Occupational hazard. I smiled. Half smile. Practiced. He bought it. She didn't. Daddy, I want to go home. After the waterfall, honey. Come on. He pulled her down the path. My path. I followed. Not close. Gave them space. Let them think they were alone. The trail got narrow. Pinched a single file. Then thinner. Branches closed in. Fog rolled up from nowhere. Thick. He gripped her hand tighter. She whimpered. Daddy, I'm scared. Almost there, sweetie. I promise. He was lying. Knew it. Needed the waterfall to be real. Needed his promise to be true. There are lines. Used to be lines I wouldn't cross. I step over them now. Don't think about it. Just do. He saw me change. Full view. Antlers full length. 12 inches. Branching. Sharp. Eyes burning red. Skin bark. Not human anymore. He tried to push his daughter behind him. Good instinct. Good father. Too late. Run, he told her. Run, baby, run. She froze. Kids do that. Terror locks them in place. Fight or flight chooses neither. I took him fast. Couldn't let her see too much. I grabbed his head with both hands. Antlers lowered. I twisted. Hard. His neck snapped. Loud crack. Like a branch breaking. Body dropped. The girl screamed. High. Piercing. Drilled into your skull. Didn't stop. Just kept screaming. Go, I said. I pointed back the way they came. Run. Don't look back. Don't stop. She looked at her father. Body on the ground. Neck wrong. Head tilted to the wrong angle. Eyes open. Empty. She looked at me. Eyes huge. Streaming. Mouth open. Still screaming. Run. She ran. Finally. Red jacket vanishing into fog. Crashing. Sobbing. She didn't stop. Good. I turned back to the body. Warm still. Roots were coming up already. Fast here. Hungry. They wrapped. Pulled. Took. Gone. I walked back later. Found the red jacket snagged on a branch. She'd made it out. Got to a road. Flagged down a car. Hysterical. Traumatized. Story about a monster. About her dad. About death. They'd think PTSD. Shock. Trauma inventing things. Making monsters to explain tragedy. They'd search. Find nothing. File it as animal attack. Bear. Mountain lion. Something. Case closed. I hung the red jacket on a low branch. Near the boundary. Warning. Or memorial. Both. The voices in my head were quiet. Not humming. Not celebrating. Sad maybe. Even guardians have limits. Even teeth serve a purpose that hurts. The kid survived. Rule is rule. Sacred. But she'd carry this forever. Nightmares. Therapy. Never the same. That's the cost. The land's cost. And mine. Word spread. Not at the station. There, truth goes to die in filing cabinets. Vanishes into bureaucracy. But locals knew. Old-timers knew. Tribes knew. I started finding tobacco pouches at the boundary markers. Small ones. Leather. Tied with cord. Offerings. respect. Small fires, tended, left burning, smoke carrying prayers. I didn't touch them, left them alone. Respect matters. They knew what I was, what we were. They weren't fighting it. They were acknowledging it, accepting it. Some boundaries should exist. Some lines shouldn't be crossed. They knew. Anders called me into his office. Stack of missing persons reports on his desk, getting bigger. He looked tired, older. "Bears," he said, not a question, a plea, begging me to agree, to let him keep believing. "Bears," I agreed. "You're out there more than anyone, Val. You see anything at all, unusual." "Fog, same as always." He studied me, really looked, saw something, didn't know what, but something. "You ever think about retirement? You've got enough years in, good pension." "Think about it every day." True, in the sense that part of me already retired, the human part, the part that filed reports and followed rules and pretended everything made sense. That part was dead. What was left was something else, something necessary. He let me go, but he was watching. I could feel it. It didn't matter, wouldn't change anything, couldn't stop what had already happened. The voices helped, made things easier. I could feel hikers on trails now, all of them, even miles away. Footsteps pushed tremors into the soil, up through roots, into me. I closed my eyes and I knew where they were, how many, how heavy, how careful. I could feel their intentions. Some were respectful, stayed on path, carried out their trash, appreciated those I left alone. Some were careless, thoughtless, cruel even. Those I watched, those I guided, sometimes toward safety, sometimes toward something else. I carved more tokens. My hands knew the pattern now, didn't have to think. Spiral and spiral, water circling a drain that was also a mouth. I hung them in trees, marked territories, made boundaries real. I slept underground now, couldn't sleep in the apartment anymore. Too bright, too loud, too separate. I slept in the cave, with the chorus, with the others. I dreamed their dreams, saw their memories. We were becoming one thing, many bodies, one purpose. I woke with dirt in my teeth, resin under my nails. I didn't bother cleaning it anymore. The blood moon came, 13th day, full transformation. The antlers finished, full rack, 14 points, sharp, heavy, crown. My eyes didn't look human anymore at all, not even close. They burned constant, red, orange, yellow in bright light. My skin was bark, almost all of it, smooth in places, rough in others, living wood. I could feel sap moving through it like blood. I walked different, joints bent ways they shouldn't, more animal than man, predator. I hunted that night, clean, efficient, no hesitation, no doubt. Solo hiker, off trail, past markers, past warnings, looking for the perfect Instagram shot. I took him quick, no speech, no explanation, just necessity. The land took, balance restored, voices sang. I wasn't Ash Valentine anymore, not really, not mostly. I was what came after, what the land needed, what it made. There's a version of this story people want, the one where I fight it at the end, where the old me rises up, where I remember my daughter's face and it saves me, where I lead one last hiker to safety and it costs me everything but proves humanity wins. That's not what happened. That's the story people tell themselves so they can sleep at night, so they can believe descent can be reversed, believe wanting is enough. It's not. The truth is simpler, heavier, harder to carry. I became what the land needed. What it needed had teeth, had claws, had hunger aimed and controlled. The transformation isn't a fall, it's an evolution, a change, adaptation. When fog rolls over ridges now, when trail runners count their breath, when fathers count steps to keep panic down, when families wander past markers they shouldn't. They're in my territory, my parish. What I offer is simple. What I take is final. If you hear a branch crack behind you and feel a voice that doesn't travel through air, if it goes straight into your head, if a ranger steps from the trees and his badge makes you feel safe, if he offers to show you a shortcut, stop. Don't follow. The only mercy left is refusing the lesson. Ash Valentine retired from your safety years ago. I'm Valentine of the mountain now, and the land is always watching. Through me. Through us. Forever. Well, boys and ghouls, that wraps up another terrorific tale from the vault. Poor Ash traded his badge for antlers, his oath for teeth, his humanity for purpose. Some transformations don't reverse, and honestly, the land doesn't want him back. If this story crawled under your skin the right way, hit that subscribe button. New creature features drop every day at 8 p.m. Central, and trust me, tomorrow's even nastier. Leave a like if you're triple-checking your trail maps before any hikes, and drop a comment where you're watching from, what cryptid haunts your neck of the woods. Ever felt watched in the wilderness and convinced yourself it was nothing? I'm always hunting for the next nightmare. Remember, not all guardians protect you. Some protect the land from you, and some rangers stop filing reports and start becoming them. The boundary markers exist for a reason. Stay on your side. Until next time, kiddies, keep your fires burning and your eyes on the trees. This has been your late night creature feature. I'm Mr. Wendigo, and the Wendigo is always watching.